Imagine for a second owning a fleet of private jets and living in mansions worth over $15 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But here is the real kicker. The world's greatest football player almost never happened. It is actually insane to think that a few inches of height almost cost the world of sports its greatest icon. Can you believe that Lionel Messi, the man who now sits on a literal mountain of cash, was once told he might be too small to ever play professionally? It's a classic rags to riches story, but with a twist that involves medical miracles and a very famous piece of trash. To really understand the scale of this billionaire's journey, we have to go back to the gritty, sun-drenched streets of Rosario, Argentina. This wasn't a neighborhood of luxury cars and high-end fashion. It was a place where you worked your fingers to the bone just to keep the lights on. Leo's father, Jorge, was a steelworker who put in long, grueling hours, while his mother, Celia, worked as a cleaner to help make ends meet. Money wasn't just tight, it was practically non-existent for anything beyond the bare essentials. But man, did they have dreams. Little Leo was always seen with a ball at his feet, a tiny speck of light darting between defenders who were twice his size. Everyone in town saw the talent, but they also saw how fragile he looked. He earned the nickname La Pulga, or the Flea, because he was so tiny and incredibly hard to catch on the pitch. Then, reality hit the Messi family like a ton of bricks. At just 11 years old, a doctor delivered a diagnosis that felt like a death sentence for the boy's career. Growth hormone deficiency. His body was basically telling him that he had reached his limit. To fix it, Leo needed daily injections that cost a staggering $900 every single month. In the late 90s, for a working class family in Argentina, that might as well have been $1 billion. They were desperate. They went to his local club, Newell's Old Boys, but the club eventually backed out of the payments. They tried River Plate, but the scouts there wouldn't commit the funds either. Imagine being a parent, knowing your son is a once-in-a-generation genius, but you simply cannot afford the medicine to let him grow. It's heartbreaking. This is where the story turns into something straight out of a movie. Enter Carles Rexach, a scout for FC Barcelona. He saw Leo play and was absolutely floored by what he witnessed. He knew he had to sign this kid immediately, but the Barcelona board was hesitant to bet on a tiny child from across the ocean. Messi's father, Jorge, was at his wit's end and demanded a commitment. In a moment of pure desperation and genius, Rexach grabbed the nearest thing he could find in a cafeteria, a paper napkin, and scribbled out a contract right then and there. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We love hearing from our global football family. That napkin is now one of the most famous objects in the world, proving that sometimes the biggest deals start in the simplest ways. Barcelona didn't just sign a player, they signed a future dynasty. They moved the entire family to Spain and picked up the bill for those expensive medical treatments. Suddenly, the little boy was training at La Masia, the most famous football academy on the planet. His climb wasn't just fast, it was meteoric. He went from a kid injecting his own legs with hormones every night to a first-team sensation in the blink of an eye. But with that insane talent came even more pressure. By the time he was a teenager, people were already calling him the new Maradona. Can you imagine that weight on your shoulders before you're even old enough to drive? Everyone wondered if the fame would break him, or if this quiet kid was secretly building a financial powerhouse that would eventually conquer the world. The money was starting to flow, and nobody knew just how high it would go. Behind that shy smile and those quiet interviews, there's a version of Leo most people never see. He looks like a regular dad at the park, but he's actually a calculated businessman. He dominates billboards from Tokyo to Paris without saying a word. Genius, right? While others try too hard as influencers, Messi's persona is authentic and untouchable. It's a global empire hidden behind that quiet kid exterior. This strategy has turned a soccer player into a walking, talking conglomerate that moves markets with a single post. But let's talk about the moment the world's jaw hit the floor. Remember when his final Barcelona contract was leaked? We are talking about the contract of the century. The numbers were absolutely mind-blowing, over $600 million. It felt like something out of a heist movie. Is any human being actually worth that much money just for kicking a ball? Some critics were furious, but for the fans, he was worth every single penny. It was the ultimate proof that he wasn't just a player, he was a global economic engine, bigger than the club itself. When those numbers came out, the internet didn't just break, it completely exploded with debates about the value of talent. If you think his earnings were just from his salary, you are in for a huge surprise. Leo has been quietly building a massive real estate empire under his brand, Miem Hotels. From the scenic coast of Sitges to the party islands of Ibiza and Mallorca, he has these boutique hotels that scream pure class. It shows a level of foresight that most athletes lack. He's not just spending his wealth on shiny toys, he's planting seeds in the hospitality industry that will grow for generations. He has diversified his portfolio so well that even if he never touched a soccer ball again, his bank account would keep growing. Then came the biggest plot twist of them all, the move to Miami. This wasn't just a transfer to a new team, it was a business masterstroke that changed the landscape of American sports forever. By partnering with giants like Apple TV and Adidas, he managed to secure a piece of the entire league's revenue. Every time someone buys an MLS season pass to watch him play, or a new pink jersey, a little bit of that money goes straight into Leo's pocket. He didn't just join a team, he became a partner in the entire league. It's a level of financial leverage we've never seen before. Can you believe a single player could negotiate a deal that includes a percentage of a tech giant's streaming profits? Of course, you can't talk about Messi's wealth without mentioning his rival, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's the ultimate contrast in styles. Ronaldo is all about that flashy wealth, diamond watches, and massive social media flexes. Messi represents quiet luxury. He's the guy who might buy a private island but won't feel the need to post 100 selfies on it. Rumors are always swirling about who is winning the bank account war. While Ronaldo has more followers, Messi's portfolio and that massive Apple deal might just give him the edge. Who do you think is actually richer? It's the ultimate billionaire battle that keeps the world guessing. And speaking of billionaire toys, have you heard about his car collection? There are rumors that he outbid Ronaldo for a 1957 Ferrari 335S Spider Scaglietti. We are talking about a car that reportedly cost a staggering $36 million. Can you imagine spending that much on one vehicle? It's a piece of history on wheels. These glimpses of extravagance remind us just how much money we are talking about here. He's not just collecting cars, he's collecting artifacts that appreciate in value. It is the definition of FU money used with a collector's precision. But even with all these hotels and private jets, the big question remains, is he still that same humble boy from Rosario? Or has the transition into a billion-dollar man changed who he is? The public's reaction to his wealth is a mix of awe and curiosity. People want to know if the money has changed the game or if he's still playing for the love of the sport. Stay tuned, because how he handles this insane level of fame in Miami is something you have to see to believe. The boy from Rosario is now the face of a global empire, and the world is watching his every move, wondering what he will buy next. Even though he's notoriously shy, his social media presence is anything but quiet. Every single Instagram post he makes is a financial earthquake. We're talking about millions of dollars for a single picture of him drinking mate or sitting with his family. The Messi effect is so powerful that brands are tripping over themselves just to get a tag. And have you noticed his fashion lately? While some stars go for loud neon colors, Leo sticks to that ultra expensive quiet luxury look. Fans are obsessed with his low-key but incredibly pricey choices, like those plain-looking white t-shirts that actually cost more than a used car. It's a masterclass in staying relatable while being untouchably wealthy. Of course, it hasn't always been smooth sailing. There were those messy tax trouble rumors in Spain a few years back that threatened to tarnish his golden image. But how do you stay mad at a guy who finally delivers the World Cup to his home country? The moment he lifted that trophy in Qatar, all the past controversies seemed to vanish into thin air. He rebuilt his image not with PR stunts, but with pure, unadulterated success. People don't care about past headlines when they're watching the GOAT fulfill his ultimate destiny. He's become more than a player. He's a national hero whose value transcends any financial scandal. Now that he's living the GOAT life in Miami, things have taken a hilarious and surreal turn. Have you seen the photos of him shopping at a local public supermarket? A billionaire athlete, arguably the most famous person on the planet, casually pushing a grocery cart and buying cereal. Is it a clever PR stunt to keep him looking like a man of the people? Or is he just genuinely that grounded? Either way, the relatable move has worked wonders for his brand in the States. He's managed to make himself part of the American fabric in record time. It's almost weird seeing him grab a gallon of milk when we know he could probably buy the whole store, the parking lot, and the entire neighborhood without breaking a sweat. But what happens when he finally hangs up his boots for good? He won't just be sitting on a beach in Ibiza. The rumors are already swirling that he's eyeing a future in club ownership, following the blueprint laid out by his boss, David Beckham. Whether it's taking a stake in Inter Miami or heading back home to buy a team in Argentina, the business of football is clearly in his blood. And let's not forget his new production company, 525 Rosario. He's clearly setting the stage to become a Hollywood mogul, producing documentaries and content that will keep his name in lights long after he stops scoring goals. His net worth is already astronomical, but with tech investments and media ventures, how much higher can it really go? We might be looking at the world's first soccer player turned billionaire. It is truly a sight to behold. It makes you wonder, if you had Messi's billions, would you still be as humble as he seems to be? Would you be the guy pushing the cart at the grocery store, or would you be flaunting that wealth every single day on a massive luxury yacht? Let us know in the comments because we're dying to hear your thoughts. From a kid in Rosario who was told he was too small to play, to a man who is now too big to fail, Lionel Messi's journey is the ultimate proof that dreams and some very smart business moves can change everything. He didn't just conquer the pitch, he conquered the world of finance, real estate, and global branding. It's been an incredible ride watching him rise from poverty to the pinnacle of power. Don't forget to like and subscribe to track the next billionaire athlete making history. He is a living legend both on and off the field for everyone. See you in the next one.